Can you just kick it off by introducing yourself?
Yeah, my name is Meeks, or Tim Meeks. Live in LA, and we made this film over the course of 5-6 years. And this is the first time we've shown it. So, with COVID in the middle and people moving and having babies, this is finally done. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
5-6 years?
Yeah.
So how did the project begin for you?
We made a short film called Distancia as well in 2014, and it kind of evolved from that film. It's not exactly the same, but the main themes were things that kind of I've wrestled with my whole life. Of if you believe in God, like what do you do with all the hard stuff? So that's what this was exploring. Is kind of like a man, the kind of the journey of the saga of a man trying to figure it out.
And how did you find your acting partner?
Yeah, so Javier is here. He's I wrote the movie for him. He's the nicest, sweetest angel of a man in the world. I met him at a barbecue. Some guy came up to me. He said, "Hey, if you ever need like a guy with a weird face for a movie?" And I was like, "Well, what are you talking about?" 2 minutes later, Javier comes up to me, and I go, "This must be the guy. He's missing an eye, and he's the nicest guy I've ever met." And so I wrote the short film the next day after meeting him. And then we've been working together for, I don't know, 10 years or something. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your strategy for filming, your visual language. How did you develop it?
Yeah, I think we wanted to make it as simple as possible, and we wanted to draw the viewer in and to involve the audience. So that was kind of the goal, is to engage the audience in a different way. That's why we're holding on a lot of images, so that you might be leaning in and beginning to ask what that image is representing. That's kind of what our general idea was, like simplicity, stripped down, minimal, and then how can we linger? How can we sit in these moments that are uncomfortable? That usually we're trying to get away from those kind of moments. So the first half of the movie is like, I noticed even now watching, I was like, I want to get away from these moments. But we're sitting in them because that's part of life, of the chapters that do come.
Can you talk to me a bit about the world, this world of evangelical, street Catholic?
Yeah, it was. So my dad is a pastor, so I grew up in the church, and these are questions kind of that have always been around. But most of the people in the film are not actors from one block in Los Angeles on Meridian Street that I lived on for 10 years. And we kind of collected all these people. These were a lot of their real stories, and we mixed them with Javier Juan as an actor, blending his grief, his sorrow with these people's griefs and sorrows. And so we blended all the worlds together and kind of wanted to represent a different side of LA that isn't usually seen. A very Hispanic, like evangelical shopping center, Pentecostal churches, street vendors, all the things that we see day in and day out in LA. Wanted to dive in there and kind of see it from that vantage point.
The guy with the cross, who I told you,
Yeah.
I watched your film. I think it was like the next day. I was driving and I saw the guy dancing. I'm pretty new to LA.
Yeah.
This is insane.
He's out there all the time.
This is just real. And so, combine, it's so difficult, or it's not difficult, but it's to combine semi-documentary, combining semi-documentary with this, with this very, very composed, beautiful, stunning cinematography. It feels like, it's not easy. I mean, did you work with a cinematographer?
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, okay, great.
That's Aaron in there.
Okay, great.
He shot the film.
Okay, fantastic. It's unbelievable. It's stunning.
Yeah, it was, a lot of it is just trying to capture the moment. So we kind of had strict rules of how we would shoot, like certain things were on the sticks, most of the film's on the sticks, and then when emotion would change, we'd either go handheld or like a steady. So we kind of had these rules in place, and then we would kind of follow those scene with those two older women talking about their griefs and stuff. Those are just Aaron's neighbors at the time. And they were sharing their story, and we brought Javier in, and he was telling his story. So fiction and nonfiction were blending constantly throughout the film. Ricky did a movie while he's washing the car. That's his real story of being healed. So it's kind of this hybrid of fiction asking who God is mixed with nonfiction asking who God is. So in the midst of all the suffering.
I find it really successful because I'm not religious. I didn't grow up with a religious pastor. And you said something about immersing the audience in these scenes. And so, at least my experience, just speaking from my experience, what sort of keeps happening to me throughout the film is like, I'm sort of going with what these guys are saying, and then in the same shot sometimes it feels like a critique.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh yeah, what you're saying is true. Oh, it's complete bullshit. This is all bullshit. This is all complete bullshit. And sometimes the camera's not even moving, and that sort of keeps happening, at least in my head.
Yeah.
Was this part of the strategy, or is this just what was?
So you're asking to the camera.
I guess the camera, but also the narrative. I guess it's just kind of leaving a lot up to the viewer.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that was the idea. Is that I didn't want to be prescriptive anyway. I wanted the audience to be asking their own questions while viewing it. Because everybody, whether you believe in God or not, you've experienced grief or you will experience grief, and so we all have the same questions: why? What's going on? How do I make sense of this pain? Whether you're directing it to a God or not, I think that's what I wanted to explore. And then some people have horrible advice around that. That's what they've decided, how they've constructed their life to make sense of it. But it's horrible. And then they're telling you how to live their life. And so it's this confusing mess that Juan was trying to navigate all these advisors, essentially.
Yeah. That seems incredible.
Yeah.
Your advice.
Good
Your advice. It's incredible. Do we have any audience questions? If I can see any audience? Thanks. In the back, we have someone in the back here. I'm going to use
Hi, beautiful film.
Oh, thank you.
What was your decision-making process behind the jobs that he was doing throughout?
Yeah, good question. I think I've always been curious about corn vendors. It's just like such a staple in Los Angeles. You see them all over the place, whether it's hot dogs or corn. And so we wanted to kind of open that world up of an elote salesperson that's like, what's it like? And I love the imagery of him shucking corn and the fire, because they're all kind of like him peeling back the layers, and then the fire of the cremation, and kind of just that symbolism of what he was doing. And then all the other odd jobs were just like that he was kind of gigging, which is a lot of people in Los Angeles. They're finding ways to make money. So whether they're washing a car on a Saturday or whether they're, cleaning something on another day, it's kind of like they will work wherever there's work. So we found ways to explore that. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I will say the washing of the car was it was just beautiful, like to evoke cleansing with car washing, especially in an LA film. It's very moving. It was like surprisingly moving.
Thanks.
That was.
Yeah.
Cars are important. We really have to keep them in place.
It's true.
I want to thank you again. Congrats on this beautiful, beautiful feature.
Thanks so much.
Thank you all for coming. Don't forget to vote for the audience award. I think there should be little QR codes scattered about. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.